What's up, everybody? Welcome back and happy Monday. I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers, bringing you your daily hail forecasts, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Rental Law Group, American Contractor, and Atlas. And they're linked for you in the description to this video, so go ahead and check their Facebook pages out. You can see all the cool work that they do. Welcome back also from the holiday weekend. I hope everyone had a great break, feels rested, ready for this work week to begin. Should be pretty chilly across a lot of the nation. I was wearing my fur hood today and the little hat and everything. It's pretty crisp. I'm gonna stay like that. We'll talk about the national weather pattern here in a second. We do have some lake effect snow hitting the New England states, and that's no surprise to y'all. Y'all are used to that this time of year, but we're going to talk about what impacts to expect with that, and then again, getting into our national weather pattern. Who's staying cold, who's staying dry, who might be a little warmer and have some storm chances. Getting into all of that here in a second. But first, guys, it is Cyber Monday, so of course we got to offer you guys a Cyber Monday deal. You guys got to call us for this one, so our number is there for you. Call now. But crazy deal here, guys, 15% off, and that is going to be for annual accounts and renewals. So go ahead and call quick, get ahead of this crazy deal before it ends. Again, 'tis the season for savings, so call now. All right, now getting into our current conditions. There's that lake effect snow heading across a lot of Michigan, up into Canada, and then into parts of New York, Pennsylvania, all those lake effect impacted areas. Moving in right now, you can see those little bands, super cool to watch on satellite and radar, seeing everything heading across the Great Lakes and onto land there in those just little tiny bands of snow. Wherever those set up impacts who's going to get a crazy amount of snow and who's going to get none at all, based on just kind of the wind direction here. So right now, the area around Buffalo getting hit with some lake effect snow, and then the area near Waterton, Syracuse, that kind of area right there. Then the rest of us, it's kind of boring weather, honestly, across the U.S. Some cloud cover in New Mexico and in Texas. Otherwise, clear, kind of cool, 39 degrees up in Denver, 33 in KC. And then there's that big old low just setting up across the Ohio Valley right now. And again, that's going to bring our winds south and then off to the east. And the reason that lake effect snow is happening is because that's where the jet stream is setting up, right? It's pulling all of that air over the Great Lakes and back onto land and forming that snow that we love so much up in Michigan and the Northeast. So there it is again on our future upper jet stream. Again, big old low setting up here in Canada and up in the upper parts of the Ohio Valley, and then real quiet out west. Now, as that thing gets out of the way, moves off into the Atlantic, still staying kind of cool if you guys are getting impacted by that up in the Northeast and off in the Ohio Valley, maybe mid-Atlantic area by Wednesday afternoon, but could start to see the pattern switch up a little bit as another trough tries to swing through into the later part of the week. So that could bring us another shot at cold weather and potentially some storm chances back to the South Plains. Really going to depend on how much we can warm up. Speaking of, here's our future temperatures. Only in the mid-50s by tomorrow through the South Plains, where we would get storm chances by the end of the week as that trough moves through. Really not looking crazy warm for us down there, and not expected to be this time of year. Staying very cold up in the New England states, Ohio Valley, Rocky Mountain West. Then into Wednesday, kind of looking similar, mid-50s, warming up a little bit into potentially the 60s through parts of Texas here, and then staying in the 30s and 40s for the rest of us up north. Then into Thursday, you can start to see that cold front from that next trough pushing through, and there it goes into your Friday morning and Friday afternoon. 40 degrees now, potentially in Oklahoma City after that front tracks into the South Plains. So watching that towards the end of the week for some mix-up in weather right now. It's going to be the Great Lakes show with all of that lake effect snow. So if you guys are in this kind of dark teal dark green, whatever that color is, you're in a lake effect snow warning. If you're in the purple, that's your winter weather advisory. So for that advisory, it's going to be a little bit on the lower end for snow. Got 3 to 6 inches of lake effect snow expected and some higher wind gusts in the 30s. Lake effect snow warning, again, now you're in those little tiny bands that are bringing all that heavy snow into the area. So you guys could get 6 to 16 inches of snow, just depending on where you're setting up in that band, with even locally higher amounts up to 20 inches in some regions. So 30 to 35 mile an hour winds on top of that. So very wintry out in the Great Lakes today into the next couple of days until that jet stream pattern shifts out of the way. Winter storm warning in the pink for the Upper Peninsula of Michigan here. Winter weather advisory back in the purple there. And that winter storm warning is lasting until Tuesday for more heavy snow expected. And, you know, snow accumulations in the higher amounts there in that Upper Peninsula region with more lake effect snow for you. So watching that area, could potentially see 3 to 10 inches, just depending on where you are in those lake effect bands. And then off into Maine, a little bit of residual winter weather for you guys. Some breezy gusts, you know, 25 to 35 mile an hour winds, and then, you know, up to 5 inches of snow possible with the remnants of that system. So how does lake effect snow work? If you're not from the Northeast, it's not super common to you. But if you guys are around like Erie, Pennsylvania, if you guys are up in Buffalo, New York, Rochester, you guys are very familiar with lake effect snow. So let's dive in, take a little look. So we talked a lot about that jet stream and how it's moving over the Ohio Valley and Northeast right now. If you're in Michigan, or again, the Great Lakes area. What happens is that warm water from the summertime, it hasn't finished cooling down, right? It's still evaporating up into the air, and then we got much colder land. So as that water lifts up and that cold air from the jet stream blows over it, that water turns into snow and then pushes all of that over land. So just depending on, again, it's very dependent on the direction of the wind, right? If the wind is blowing this way, you'll get lots of snow down here. If the wind is blowing this way, you'll get your lake effect bands over here. So it really impacts a lot of how much snow you're going to see dependent on that jet stream. But bottom line, it takes all of that water from the Great Lakes, turns it into snow, dumps it on land. So that's kind of what we're seeing now. And continuing into this afternoon through our future radar, you can see that here. 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern, going to see more bands moving on to shore. So if you guys are in again, like Erie, Buffalo, Syracuse, Waterton, if you guys are out along the west coast of Michigan there, getting plenty of lake effect snow that's continuing to dive into the area all the way through this afternoon, this evening, tonight, and then there you are tomorrow for your morning commute around 8 a.m., still seeing heavy snow bands moving onto land off of the Great Lakes. So expecting to see quite a bit of snow accumulation in those areas. Here you go. By tomorrow afternoon, some folks could be up to double digits, just depending on where you're at, you know, with all of that snow moving on shore, but still a decent amount moving onto the west coast of Michigan, the Upper Peninsula there, 2 to 4 inches for you guys, and then into Wednesday afternoon, even more. Now we're seeing close to double digits here in southern New York, seeing plenty of snow up through the Syracuse area, and even more out in Michigan. So lots of snow impacting the Northeast. Hope you guys like winter weather because you're about to get some for the next couple of days. For the rest of us, can you roof? Can you get out and do any outdoor activities? If you bundle up, probably. I mean, 51's a touch cold for me, but I'm a southerner. So, you know, out and down south, hitting the low 50s by 3 p.m. and then 30s, 40s, even a little bit colder once we're up north towards the center of that low pressure system, right? And then, you know, diving down to very cold temperatures overnight. So if you have any plants that have made it through the fall, time to move those inside. And then, you know, Tuesday by noon, still seeing very cold weather out through the Ohio Valley and mid-50s, some 40s out through the south. And then, you know, all of that snow off through the New England states. But otherwise, not really working with a ton of wind, not really working with any rain. So if you bundle up, good time to get outside, do some work. Here's your 48-hour forecast temps for our viewer areas. And if you guys are watching from any cities not in these, drop them in the comments so we can get you added to these graphics. But for our friends in Oklahoma, should be in the 50s for the next couple of days. Same for Texas. But then, once you get out into the Front Range, much colder. Could have a little bit of warmer weather on Tuesday before we cool back down into your Wednesday. Very cold in Minnesota, hitting single digits on Tuesday morning. Same with you guys in Chicago, very cold. Atlanta in the 40s. So lots of winter weather setting up. Extended rain outlook into this week just with this weather pattern. It's going to keep us cold, going to keep a lot of us up north dry. And then there's that chance for storms later on in the week that we kind of talked about as that trough swings through. Potential to get some active weather down through the south. Not a lot of severe, maybe some here and there, but it's not looking, it's late November.